to it. Give it to it. Give it to it.
The appendages definitely move a lot on this bait. These things are super smooth. So I'm definitely going to purchase some of these, test them out, and see if they really do work. Hey guys, it is Mission Discover, and welcome back to another video. Today, we are revisiting something that we did in a video from last year. That is, we are going to be heading into the Philadelphia Fishing Expo, showing you guys what there is, kind of doing a vlog style video and just giving you an idea of the experience and some of the products that I pick up. If you're not familiar, this event is held every February in the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Super cool experience. Lots of vendors from all over the region come in. There's a super cool vibe, lots of things to do, lots of things to look at. I'm going to try and give you a more total experience, a more total idea of what there is to offer than I did last year. I kind of just focused in on a few specific companies. I'm kind of going to expand it this year, and that does mean that the video is going to be pretty long. I'm going to give you more of a rundown on what my plan is once we get out there on the show floor, but once you get the lowdown, feel free to skip through. Some parts won't appeal to you and some parts will. Just find what you like, find what you're interested in throughout this video, and watch that. I have no problem with that. I know this video is long. So with all that said, we are going to hop right into the action. Let's get out there to the expo. All right, I'm kind of just wandering through while there's not a ton of traffic here. I'm figuring out where I want to go, kind of scoping out the area, so that way I have a game plan when I run back through to do some filming and some buying of some things. We got fresh baits. I talked to them last year. I'm just trying to figure out where everybody is right now. All right, so I've pretty much walked through the entire show and just kind of mapped everything out in my head, kind of know what's going on and what booths I want to go back to, sort of what my plan is. So I'm going to start walking through. Obviously, there's a lot of tackle. There's a lot of rods and reels and interesting products here. I'm going to kind of show you some of the company booths, certain different companies that maybe you guys haven't seen and I think have some innovative and interesting products with some good value to them. And then there's a whole bunch of random vendors who just sell rods and reels and tackle from a variety of different companies, and I'm just going to walk through and kind of talk about some of the stuff that sticks out to me. Obviously, if I tried to go through all of this, it would take an immense amount of time. So we're just going to start working our way back through. All right, so this booth here, a couple of these combos stuck out at me. First of all, we have this, I believe this is the Sweep Fire combo. Let me check. This is a shock, a D-shock. So this is actually pretty similar. Does it have the Sweep Fire reel on there? I think it is. No, it's pretty similar to the Sweep Fire reel though, which I have some experience with. This is kind of a similar combo to my old-fashioned D-Wave. Obviously, that's a couple years old. It was given to me by someone. It's probably a 10-year-old combo, but this is like the new age version of that. It's a pretty good budget combo. Same with, I have a Daiwa Samurai. Super cheap little combo, but they do perform well. I've had good luck with Daiwa's cheaper combos, so if you're looking for something like that, this could be a good option. And then we also have these eliminators, which this nice gentleman just told me is very similar to the Daiwa BG, which is one of the best spinning reels for saltwater, freshwater, around that $100 price point. These, unlike the BG, have a fully through handle, not a screw-on type. And these combos are like somewhere around that $140, $170 price range, depending on which one you get. And yeah, they look pretty nice. Obviously, I've had minimal experience with a BG, but everybody loves them. So if these are anything like those, these could be a good option as well. And then we've got these Tsunami shields down here. Yet again, something I haven't had experience with, but I've heard from a ton of people that this is one of the best options for like a starter saltwater ready combo, especially the reel. I've heard they're not the smoothest, but they can, you know, stand up to some serious abuse and do pretty well. We also have the CC80, I believe this is. Yeah, this is right and left-hander. This is one of Daiwa's cheaper bait casting reels. I believe this is a full graphite frame. Is that correct? I believe you're correct. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a full graphite frame guy. I typically like to go more aluminum frame and side plates just to get the extra rigidity. Feels pretty good. Most Daiwa reels do. That's nothing to...
Pour that with a nice light rod, you can do whatever you want all day without an issue.
Also, I really like these grips. Shimano and Daiwa both have like these rubberized paddle style grips. This is very similar to what's on my Revros LT. Super nice grips. Definitely a good budget option. And then we have some of the cheaper Daiwa spinning reels, which I obviously have a lot of experience with. Can confirm that things like the Revros and stuff like that are definitely good buys. And I think we've had a QC a QC 750 before. I think I got my buddy Mason one of these for Christmas. Pretty cheap little reel, but does perform fairly well. And then here is the BG that we were talking about earlier. Definitely nice, smooth reel. Good drag, and is viewed by many as one of the best $100 reels out there. All right, I'm here at the Doomsday Tackle booth. They have some really premium, nice looking rods here. I mean, this thing's unbelievably light. Obviously, I can't really speak on the performance because I don't have any experience, but the grip and the aesthetic and how light this thing is just unbelievable. And then they've got some of these over here as well. These feel like they're definitely a little bit heavier. These might be a glass rod, I might say it. I don't know. These are definitely a little bit heavier, but yet again, the aesthetic and the feeling of this rod is just fantastic. All right, we are here at Fresh Baits. They have a variety of like
Tony already tell you about this?
Super
This is new.
Plastics.
Yes, this is our master kit.
Right, one of the coolest things about them is they have like some really crazy colors. Pretty much anything you can think of, they will have. And some of these shapes are really interesting as well. These crawfish are definitely super realistic and will probably give you more action than any other crawfish. The durability may suffer, but definitely if you're in a super pressured location, this could be good. I've also got Helamites here. I've used these in the past on a variety of my trips. Fish really seem to love these on a Ned rig or a drop shot. And yet again, also have them in a variety of colors. And their plastic formula is enough to where it just barely floats, isn't really resisting you if you put on a weight there, but it's soft, but not too soft to where it's gonna rip apart. There's definitely some plastics that go a little bit too far to one direction. This one toes that line pretty well. I showed this last year, but they've got an action test tank here as well. Show you the action. Crawfish. The appendages definitely move a lot on this bait. And then a pretty standard shaky head here. But yet again, their action's pretty good, and one of the greatest things about them is how many color options they have. A lot of times it comes with a lot of pressure. They won't bite your standard colors, and you just have to show them something new. And Fresh Baits definitely has some colors to where you could show them something new. All right, we have the worm bar here. I mentioned this in the last year's video. You pay by weight, and they have a ton of different plastics. Yet again, just like I talked about with Fresh Baits, they have a pretty good formula that toes the line. It's a pretty average formula that does everything decently. And you pay by weight, so you don't have to worry about getting colors you don't want or getting a bunch of stuff that you're not going to use. You can build your own bag of whatever sort of plastics you want and then pay for it based upon your own personal preferences.
Here we have a freshwater lineup, we have saltwater. They're all made with ground down bait fish, shellfish, or worms. They are water activated, so the scent's not going to get all over your hands or anything else that it touches. All you do is simply center cut a hook, push it away from the barb, submerge them, and let them do their thing. You're going to get about 20 minutes of continual scent before it swells and comes off the hook. If you don't have a fish within 20 to 25 minutes, chances are it's not my fault anyway. Different blends, target species for crappie, a target species for catfish, and also a target species for trout. It's not up there. On the saltwater side, we have a target species for flounder called Flounder Pounder. If not, what you see up there actually has the ground down bait fish inside of it. That's the story of the Stinky Balls.
All right, we are here at the Stinky Balls booth. Definitely an interesting name, but they supposedly have these little spherical shaped baits that have enough scent to where a fish will bite them. Similar sort of concept to something like fish bites. And they have stuff that will supposedly work for catfish, carp, some saltwater species, and definitely something I want to try out. They've been at the Expo in previous years, and I wanted to try them, but I just never got around to it. So I'm definitely going to purchase some of these, test them out, and see if they really do work, because a lot of the baits that claim to be able to catch catfish or carp really don't work that well. So we're going to see how well these ones work. All right, we got another booth with a whole bunch of reels. These look like they are used reels that they're selling at a discounted price. We've got a Pen Slammer. This is definitely a more premium reel. It's I believe it's up somewhere up in the mid 200s as far as price range. But I own a Penn Wrath and have been very happy with it. Penn's quality, even down to the lower end stuff like the Wrath, is pretty good, and just having an idea of what this feels like is a good reference point. Definitely, I've heard really good things about the Slammer. If you're looking for a serious saltwater reel, definitely go for that. We've got Shimano Nasi. I own a Sedona, so definitely interesting to feel the differences here. A lot different handle. Obviously mine is a 1000 size, so this isn't a direct comparison. It has a little bit lighter bail, a little bit lighter spool, more finesse drag. This is definitely a more finesse style reel for about the same price as compared to the Sedona. And then some of the rods that stuck out to me here at this booth were these Star rods. I've heard really good things about these style of rods in this company from people at the tackle shop when we're down in Ocean City. They've given me a lot of good saltwater advice. None of it has been wrong, and I've been able to catch a decent amount of saltwater fish with minimal experience using their advice and the knowledge that I gained from them. So definitely I think Star rods could be a good option. They're not super expensive. They have like a pretty standard like EVA style handle, pretty standard reel seat as well. But the finish on the rod is good. And I felt some of these in the tackle shop down in Maryland. Actually, technically it's Delaware, but yeah, they feel pretty good. They got Fuji guides on them, which are always a sign of good quality. Yeah, definitely a rod that I'd be interested in trying at some point. All right, we have made it to one of my favorite booths to come to every year because they've got all the premium stuff. They tell me all the details, let me feel some of it, and this stuff is definitely kind of out of my price range. I'd have to save up to get one of these and justify it. They've got like Tatulas in here. They've got some of the more expensive Shimanos. There's a Sedona. I own the 1000, so that one right there I do own. But this is definitely more expensive reels than what I typically go for, so I'd like to check this stuff out and just see what the technology nowadays actually offers. Just get a better bearing for the quality of reels that I do own and picking out by looking at the more expensive, higher quality stuff. I just noticed down here at the bottom they also have Revros LTs, and that I believe is a Revros LT 1000, so that's another good reference point. If we get to fuel some stuff, I may ask them to pull out the Sedona and the Revros LT, and I believe they also have an SLX up in here if we look at some baitcaster stuff, just as reference points for stuff that I actually own, so that you know, we can see kind of what the technology offers as compared to some more basic stuff. They also have some more expensive Daiwa and St. Croix rods here. Yet again, definitely something that's at the higher end of the price that I'm willing to spend for a good rod and reel. But definitely good to, you know, just feel this stuff out and understand what a good rod and reel actually offers. So that way you have a better point of reference for analyzing the gear that you actually do buy. Now, we were just talking about premium rods at a previous booth, and you want to talk about premium, we've got some Megabass stuff here. Very similar to that rod I felt earlier. This is a super premium feeling grip and reel seat. It's pretty basic EVA foam, but the whole thing is unbelievably light. Yet again, just super cool to feel this super premium stuff and kind of understand how it works and what it offers. You know, we have another one here.
That's the top of the line.
This is the super top of the line one.
Destroyer 110.
Destroyer 110. These things are unbelievably light, right? I have an Enigma Ipon rod, and that thing's pushing the upper end of the price range for me, and I thought that thing was light. These things don't even feel like they're there. It's crazy how light you can get these rods. I imagine the sensitivity is through the roof. Check out some of the specs. This is a 6'5".
Yeah, so the deal with Megabass Fun, the way it works, they don't really do medium heavy, they go by the power.
Okay.
So it's pretty much F2 to F10. So this is the jerkbait rod, it's going to be your lighter treble casting rod. So that's an F4 power, which is pretty much a medium.
Pretty much a medium.
Yep.
Okay, so this is fairly comparable to my Ipon. That is a medium fast 6'8", so a very similar rod, and this thing is, I mean, definitely a lot lighter, and it just feels incredible. They've also got some interesting reels over here. These are the 7 reels, which, if I'm correct, aren't these made by like Rapala?
St. Croix.
St. Croix.
Yeah,
I knew it was someone like that.
Right.
Rapala has new series of lures. I forget what those are called.
City, yep.
Yep. But these are really interesting. I've heard very mixed opinions on these. Some people say that St. Croix should stay in their lane. Some people say they're great. Definitely something interesting to feel. It does feel like it's a graphite framed reel to me, which does kind of put me off a little bit, but definitely interesting to check out. Oh, this one, yeah, Hypermag. Left-handed Hypermag. I really like Lou's grips. They have like the larger wind grip style things. Yet again, I personally, this is just personal preference, I think you're getting a really good product if you buy a Lou's reel. I just personally think the price point is a little bit off. They have a lot of graphite framed reels and stuff like that. Their warranty is really good, but you know, everyone has to have their own personal preferences. I think Lou's rods are definitely a lot better investment, in my own personal opinion, than Lou's reels are. But this Hypermag is definitely nice. This is magnesium, correct? Yeah. Magnesium framed reel. Obviously, as I said, I like the wind grips. This thing's unbelievably smooth and light. Definitely, if you're looking for a premium reel, I can't say this is a bad option. I just think there might be better ones out there. And you got these as well. Same sort of thing. I think there might be better spinning reel options, but nice wind grips, pretty smooth reel. I like the heavier duty bail. You guys know I definitely like a heavier duty option when it's available. Definitely a nice bail click. It's actually pretty similar to a President. That's one of the best things about the President, in my opinion, is how strong that bail clicks into place, how firm it is. I've used a President a couple times. One of the most common reels out there. My buddy Mason has a couple of these. And yeah, definitely good reels. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that with a better grip, maybe a little bit better drag. Definitely a nice option. We've also got some of these Megabass jerk baits here. Yet again, this is a more premium booth than what I'm used to. These jerk baits, for those of you who aren't familiar, they're like $20 jerk baits, and they're super popular. People say they're amazing, but I am not spending $20 on a jerk bait. I may pick one of these up eventually and see if it's really worth the hype. I feel like that's kind of an overdone video, but these are insane with the colors. Yeah, look at this. And they have one of those weight transfer systems that allow you to cast further, correct?
Yeah.
I've used some of that stuff. Yeah, this color scheme, the entire build quality in Megabass stuff is good, but it does come with a price. We also have a ducket rod. I've never felt a ducket rod. Yet again, this kind of feels in a very similar vein to my iPhone. Pretty good grip, but a fairly standard reel seat, a decent weight, and I know these are not like extremely expensive, so definitely a good option. And then another one that's pretty similar to that is the St. Croix Bass X. These are like somewhere around the $100 price point. It doesn't say it here, but yet again, pretty standard but comfortable reel seat, fairly lightweight. Feels like it'd be sensitive, but not like extremely expensive. Kind of not super premium, but you can get it for a fairly decent price, similar to my iPod rod. So we are here at the Kraz Outdoors booth. They've got stuff from a variety of companies here, including Nico. Definitely want to try some of that out. We have some Euro Tackle stuff here as well. You guys have seen me use Euro Tackle stuff in numerous videos. You saw me talk about it in last year's Expo. I've used a lot of their plastics, and I might want to restock on some of that. But what I haven't tried is a ton of their hard baits. And with me getting into BFS this past year, it's definitely something that I think is going to be beneficial if I try some new BFS style little hard baits that they offer. So we've got Leo over here. I'm going to talk to him in a minute. And yeah, we're just going to kind of pick up some of this stuff, try out some of this stuff. I've heard Nico is a really good alternative to Z-Man, that kind of ultra durable plastic. And we're definitely going to pick up some more Euro Tackle stuff as well. All right, so we got Nico stuff over here. I know they have like a Hellgramite style lure that would definitely be good to try up against the fresh bait Hellamites. I'm not sure if they have them. They do. And I think probably the best option here is to go with just like a super natural color, something like this. Try it out. I know these are not cheap, but supposedly they last a really long time, like Z-Man baits. So I'm gonna try out some of these Hellgramites. Definitely gonna pick up at least one Euro Tackle bait, and I think I'm probably gonna go with something like the Fat Assassin or the Euro Grub. I think I'm probably gonna go with a Euro Grub. I use stuff like this a lot on a trout magnet jig head, and it catches a ton of species. My main go-to last year was I believe it was the EPF Minnow that I used in a black and blue color. That thing smacked all over the place. I used it a lot up at my lake house, and I think I'm gonna use the Euro Grub this year. They're all fairly similar. They all work pretty well. I think I'm gonna get one of these. And then we also got to pick out a couple hard baits to use, try out on the BFS here. I think I definitely want to try one of the Z poppers. What color Z popper? That is the question. I think I'm probably gonna go with the last of this black one here. Black's always a good color for topwater. These Z Vibers in a couple different size configurations. This would be a cool comparison to that micro lipless crankbait that I got from Guggen Squad, and I've used a couple times on the BFS. So I think I'm gonna grab one of those, assuming it's the right weight. It's a 1/8 ounce, so this is exactly the same. I think I'm gonna grab one in, we'll go with this color. It kind of looks like a little black crappie. I think that's the color I'm gonna go for. All right, guys, I'm here with Leo from Extreme Philly Fishing. I talked to him last year. If you guys do not know who he is a multi-species life listing angler like myself. Quite a bit more species than I do, and he definitely knows what he's talking about. A lot of my recommendations and help with IDing fish and resources to ID fish come from this man right here, so definitely a good resource. If you don't know who he is, I'll leave him linked down in the description below. Anything to say here?
Absolutely. So what we're going to be doing is we're here at the Philadelphia Fishing Show, and I'm going to give your boy over here some recommendations for different little lures and stuff, you know, so that he may, you know, put out some juicy contents, right, for you folks in the future, right? So how about we take a little walk here?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. All right, so as you folks know, as you may know too, I'm sponsored by Eurotackle, but my boss is very lenient. So my boss is always like, you know, yeah, you can advertise some other products, right?
Yep.
You can show people some other stuff. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I think is good, okay? I don't know if it's gonna be within your budget or not. We'll see. But right over here, dude, we have Berkshire Bass, Spencer's booth, okay? 110s, man, for the Mega Bass.
Yeah, I
got
looked
some
at those
sick
already.
colors. Let me show you a little something right here. There's one color over here that is called a shed, dude. And the thing with this color in particular, you look like this. It's kind of yellowish. When you turn it upwards, dude, it turns red. You see that?
Yeah.
This is one of the new features that is really cool about it. I am going to get some of these before the end of the show. I am familiar with Spencer over here too. He does a real good job.
Yes,
you
sir.
want some Mega Bass, dude? You come right over here. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's hop to the next booth. All right, I'm gonna show you a little something. There's one booth over here that has been selling Kitech, 2-inch little Kitech for like $5 a pop, man. I mean, a deal like that, you can't go wrong. The thing is, we need to find it. It's right here. Look at this, man. I got about 8 packs of these yesterday, no joking. It's like 2-inch little Kitechs, okay, that are not that easy to find, man. $5 a pop. How affordable is that, man? You know, you put this on a jig, bro, it's gonna catch some fish. You feel me? So hey, this is a suggestion. You come over here, get some of these, shoot a video. You feel me, man? Fairfield tackle. Fairfield fishing tackle, right over there, right? Let's hop to the next booth. Now we're going to go after some fishing line. I'm gonna show you some fishing line that is really, really good for ultralight and light fish, okay? The name of the brand is Balzac, so make sure that you don't mispronounce it, okay? It's Balzac, not Ballsack, okay? All right, let's hop right over there. Before that, it's Stinky Balls right over here,
Yep.
okay?
We got some of those already today.
Oh, you got some of those
I did.
already?
I got some catfish stuff tried out.
Bro, all types of different flavors, bro, you know? They got the Nightcrawler one over here. You punch some of these down there, bro. It attracts the fish, you feel me? Don't do that, right? Don't do that. Not for human consumption. So today, I'm actually having a presentation at the fish tank, 1 p.m. I'm going to be talking a little bit about ultralight fishing. Well, by the time this video is out, it's gonna be long gone. But the fishing line that I'm using is the Peacock one right over there. So I'm gonna show you right over here real quick. There's the stuff right over here, okay? From Balzac right here.
Hold on,
100%.
I got a connector.
100% fluorocarbon. We do not want to disturb the business. Feel me? This is the stuff right here. 2 to 4 pound cast line. All right. You use the smaller lures. You want to cast it out. They're really good 500 reel. This is the stuff right over here. So you can come to the booth right over here. Give it a little, you know, zoom in over here. This is the owner right over here, Paul.
How you doing?
All right. Good fella right over here. Okay. Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate it. And I think for today, all right, 2 lure suggestions, a line suggestion. I think that's pretty much it. Of course, if you come to these expos, don't forget to hit the beef jerky, the pickles, and all the food too, all right?
All right, we're walking into the center section. This is here every year, and it has kind of like one of the most varied selection of things in here, and there's always something good that I can find in here. Just gonna kind of look through, see what they've got. Lots of bucktails for saltwater. I don't use bucktails a ton, so I don't think that's gonna be a super valuable investment for here. Got some pliers, frogs here, swivels, that sort of stuff. Some ice fishing stuff. Like this is a pretty stiff little ice rod. Interesting. Does it have drag? It does have drag. That's weird. I did want to pick up some tip-ups. I don't know how much these are. But I am going to pick up tip-ups because I don't own any. We didn't get out on the ice yet again this year because we had really one safe day of ice. We really only had one safe day of ice before it melted again. But I do want some tip-ups for when I do end up going ice fishing. Got some other stuff in here. These are some big old net spinners. Trout worms, crankbaits, spinnerbaits, frogs, reels. These are smaller pen rafts. I do own a size 5000 pen raft, and these are pretty good little reels. A waterproof case from Plano. This is actually the same series of cases that I keep my camera equipment in.
Checkouts over here, guys.
Some more reels to check out. Ice Scoops, got one of those last year. Ice cleats for $5. Might pick up some of these for possible ice fishing mission eventually. More lures. Sand spike. What's the price of these sand spikes? I'm gonna need another one when I go down this year, so I may pick one of these up because these are definitely less expensive here than they are down at the beach. Gloves. I got some sabikis in here. What's the price on these? $1.99. That's the same as the stores, so that's not worth it. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today.
Checkouts over here, folks.
Buy this stuff. There's Kev from Anyfin at the trout pond. I'm sure he'll get one because he always does.
I landed one earlier.
Did you really? You just have to annoy them enough and they'll bite it. Like just tap it on their nose over and over again and they'll get it.
You hit it on the first hole. As soon as I hit the wood, I just let it drop and I hit it on the way down. He's gotten 2 or 3 on just by doing top water.
Top water.
Top water's the way to go here.
So I'm here at the Works of Art booth. They do custom rod building. They have all the supplies and info you would need to be able to build your own custom rod. Definitely a little bit out of my price range at this point in time, but definitely something I want to try at some point in my fishing career. Build a custom rod, see how it performs. Definitely an interesting topic to cover. They've got almost like a lathe here where they wrap the rods. Super awesome looking stuff here. All right, well, here's what the sling pack I've been wearing the entire time looks like now. I've got my tip up and my things just sticking out. Put it back on. Keep going. All right, so we are here with Joel. If you guys remember my video last year, he was with Enigma. He's got some Enigma products over there, but he's actually started his own company of rods this year. He's gonna show us what he's got.
How you guys doing today? All right, so what we got here is we got Finex rods. That's the name of the company that I started. I actually started alongside with my dad. but the blank is made out of a F200 nano blank, so it's a carbon-based blank instead of your graphite. What that means is you get about 30 to 40% more strength than graphite, but you retain the same lightness and sensitivity. You got a real nice carbon fiber handle, so you don't ever have to worry about it breaking or loosening up, losing your reel. A very nice reel seat that has complete access to the blank. Just, you feel everything. Anytime they pick it up, slack line even, you feel it. And then you got real nice cork handles, so they're very comfortable if you're fishing all day. They're not gonna get slippery on you when they're wet, just very comfortable. I got 6 different bait casting models, and then I got 3 different spinning models as well. I got a 7.2 medium, and then I got a 7-foot medium heavy spinning model and a 6.9 medium light.
And one of my favorite things specifically about the spinning model is if you see the reel seat nut comes up from the bottom, and that leaves this whole area up here to have just good ergonomic grip. And I really like that. You know, a lot of rods don't take that into account, and when they do the little things right like this, I'm fairly confident that they can do the major things right. This is a super ergonomic style of handle that not a lot of companies utilize.
Yeah, so come on, check them out. And then we also have our cranking models too.
All right, so we are back outside. I'm going to go drop off these because they don't really fit in my little sling pack. Gonna go drop them off at the truck and go back in. Back up at the front of the Expo, they have some of the Hellcat rods here. If you want to see some content on one of the Hellcat rods up in the future, go check out Anyfin's channel. He's picking up one of these green ones.
What the price?
I believe it's in at like 160, something like that.
110 cash, 130 card.
Gotcha. I have a buddy who's picking up one of these green ones here eventually. That's a beefy rod. That's going to be a flathead killer. I'll probably end up going back out.
Here's 16 ounces.
Yeah, I'll probably end up going back out with Anyfin for flatheads this summer, and they're probably going to be using this one, so we'll see how it does then.
What's up, guys? Lucas Bogosian here, full-time professional angler. I'm gonna come on in here real quick. We're in the Bogo Brands booth. Our 20-pound braid developed by me, super thin diameter, the thinnest braid on the market diameter-wise. Check it out. Thanks for watching, guys.
We're back at Bogo Brands booth. I also did want to show you that they have some reels and lures available as well. We got some nice pre-rigged plastics and some blade baits over there. And then they have these reels as well, which are some fairly budget priced options.
Good. Give it to it. Give it to it. Give it to it. Come on, fight the fish. Come on. No.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And this is a Lexan, right?
That's a Lexan 400, and that's a Daiwa Harrier Gene rod. Extra heavy.
Interesting. This is like a combo that I don't have.
Weighs just over a pound.
Gotcha. This is a really nice combo. Definitely something I don't have experience with either, because I'm not really haven't done much deep sea stuff. So.
Don't have to be deep sea. I mean, like I said, he's used, my brother has the exact setup. And everything from catching squid in the spring, fluking, sea bass, stripers, up to a 73-pound yellowfin tuna.
Gotcha.
And everything in between.
Yeah,
so.
This is definitely like something in this vein. Maybe not specifically jigging, but I definitely want something I could do like heavier saltwater, maybe some muskie with, maybe even flex it into some catfish stuff at some point. All right, I mentioned this last year, but they also have what's called the hog trough in here. They have some fish that they put in here, some really big rainbow trout. Take a look at that trout. They've even got some like goldfish, some catfish down there. And of course we've got some bass. They use this for seminars from pro anglers to talk about some different fishing techniques. They stand up there and they do some casting, talk about some different lures, how to work them, that sort of thing. Definitely a cool experience to have at these expos, just to learn from someone who's definitely really good at the craft of fishing. Got some other reels to look at here. Got one of these toadfish reels. I know this company makes a really interesting inshore saltwater rod. Never really heard of the reel. It says it's a sealed system. Could be a good saltwater option.
especially in the $100 range.
We've also got the SLX DC. You guys know I love my standard SLX, and this has one of the digital chip braking systems. Super interesting technology. I believe these are about 180 bucks as opposed to the 100 for my standard SLX. Tatulas. This is a pretty big size Tatula. That's a 300. But Tatulas are a really popular higher end Daiwa bait casting reel. Got the basic Corrado here as well. These are some staples in the industry as far as casting reels go. Here's one of the higher end pen reels. This is a Clash. These things are super smooth, and like all pen reels, can stand up to a lot of abuse. Definitely feels pretty good. Fairly light too. I mean, it's definitely like a heavy duty frame, but it's not super heavy, not near as heavy as I thought it would be. And then of course the Stratic, probably the quintessential Shimano spinning reel. Higher end, somewhere in that $200 price range. This one is $199. Super stupid smooth. Everything feels great on these reels. And then I believe this is the Vanford, which is like the other version. A little bit lighter, a little bit more finesse. Very similar reels. I really haven't had experience with either of them, but they both feel fantastic. Alrighty, so I just purchased myself a Tsunami Shield 3000. This is going to be my new reel that goes on my GX2 medium power for, you know, simple saltwater stuff, some nice freshwater stuff as well. They said they would give me a discount on it. I got it for 70 bucks as long as I walk through and show you what they got, which I was planning on doing anyway, so good deal for me. Obviously, they've got a lot of Daiwa stuff here. This is a pretty nice combo here as well. This is a TWS. They have so many different versions of the Tatula that I really can't keep up with it. But yet again, all the Tatulas have been really good. This has one of the air systems here, which if you see, nice thin line guide here, but when you click the button, goes out wide, gives you a better cast. I was shown this technology last year. Really cool. Some wading packs and different apparel, hats, that sort of thing. Some jigging rods. This is the same jigging rod we tried down at the booth down the way. I've never heard of Jigging World, but they have some of these rods. They look, the fit and finish looks really good. They feel really light in the hand. Some more Jigging World stuff. They got some more Shimano rods. Really haven't ever tried Shimano rods. I really stick with the reels, but you know, Shimano makes a high quality product, and I'm sure some of the rods are good. I know I've heard really good things about things like the Sensolite and the Majestic rods. So I imagine they can be, so I imagine they'd be a pretty good product here. Got some jigs, bigger baits. Nice, these look like they're handmade glide baits. That's really cool. What's the price on these?
You good? 125.
125 for handmade glide baits. This is a piece of craftsmanship and can catch fish as well. I always like looking at the handmade baits. There's just such a unique item. Tons of reels. Toadfish one. Looked at that one. That looks really interesting. And as I already mentioned, they have a lot of the staples in the fishing world. Corrados, Shimano SLX, Tatulas, lots of pen stuff. And of course they have the shields over there, which I picked up at this booth. They got some of the bigger Rapala baits down the way here, as well as some more expensive St. Croix stuff. St. Croix rods are awesome, super lightweight, but they're not like the most expensive rods in the world. Definitely a good value. If you're willing to spend somewhere in that $100 to $200 range, St. Croix is a good option. And they've got some Tsunami combos down here. Yeah, definitely a lot of good options at this booth, and I got a killer deal on my Shield. And this is the SFO Sport Fishing Outfitters booth. They supposedly have a store right here in Pennsylvania, so go check them out. In Norristown?
Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Gotcha.
West Germantown Point.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm here at Favorite Fishing. Favorite Fishing is a company who I've known about for a while. I've never actually had much experience at all. Even within stores, there's not a lot of availability of their product. Some people really like them, some people don't. But the only way to know for sure if you like them is to get them in hand. So I've got one here. Feels nice and light. This is a Whitebird. I know this is one of their cheaper rods. This is a medium heavy, I believe. Medium heavy moderate. Feels pretty good. Got a nice rubberized cork. EVA foam grip to them. Feels pretty good. It says it's a moderate, but I'm not feeling that. It seems a little bit stiffer than that. I like to look at the cheaper rods, because if their cheaper rods are good, then we know their more expensive ones are going to be good. This is one of their Defender series. I love the color scheme, obviously. What really matters is the feel in the hand and how it performs. I really like the micro guides on this. It gets real small out by the tip. Super, super interesting. This is a slightly more expensive rod. They also make reels, as you can see down here. They have some of them up here.
A lot of good stuff on sale from Favorite, Bob.
Checking them out. See what you got. What's this one? The Balance. How much would this one be?
That one would be 55, the Balance.
$55.
55, usually 70.
And then here's up here we've got a
Whitebird.
casting one, Whitebird. I just checked out the rod. Feels pretty decent. Is this a graphite or aluminum frame?
That is a graphite.
Graphite frame. Okay. How much would this one be?
That one would be, that we sell them in combos too.
Gotcha.
Whitebird casting combos usually 130, I believe we can do it for 110.
130 for the full combo.
With the combos. If you want the real, 65.
And 65 for the reel. Feels pretty good for a $65 reel.
65. So the rods are usually usually 90. So what would I say there? How much did I say on that?
65 for the reel, 130 for the combo.
130 for the combo. The rods are usually 80, so if you do the math on that, you're better off just buying the combo.
Gotcha. Just taking a look, see what you got to offer. The man himself in the seminar, teaching us about the ways of multi-species.
I have about 530 different species of fish.
Thank you. Alrighty, we are finally heading back out of the expo. I did pick up a rod and another reel and some braid before I left. I'll show you guys my entire haul. I'm not really going to talk about it much since I did that in the expo, but I'll show you it all once I get back to the house. All right, guys, I'm back here at the house now. I'm going to give you kind of an overview of all the stuff I got. I know it was kind of a bit chaotic out there on the show floor. I'm going to show you all the products, give you a brief summary of what I plan to use them for, kind of what videos are in store with these products. And yeah, there's some products that I didn't show you out there on the show floor, some that you've already seen, so I'm just going to recap all of that now. First thing is, I did pick up 2 different types of braided line. Eventually I'm going to want to do a braided line fishing comparison, and I had some reels that needed respooled anyway, so I picked up some of this BOGO braid. I have 2 spools of this in a green color in 20 pounds. It's a 4-strand braid. Not to spoil it too much, but I do have it spooled up on one of the reels that I got at the expo as well, and have used it a little bit and do like it thus far. More info to come. And I also got some of this Daiwa J braid in a blue color, 30-pound J braid. This is also a 4X braid, and I picked this up for one of my casting reels, which I will also show you in a minute. Haven't used this one much, and I still have to do some testing on this before I have really any opinion to give. As far as baits, I actually was pretty minimal on some of the baits that I picked up this year. Most of my money went towards the bigger items. I'll show you here in a minute, but I did pick up 2 little hard baits from Eurotackle. We have this is called the Z Viber, had to check the name there, in a little black crappie color. It's kind of like a micro lipless crankbait. I've had some experience with these types of baits in the past, and this will be a good comparison. And with me getting into BFS last year, this should be a fun little bait to throw around on that setup. On a similar vein, I have the Z Popper. Super little topwater popper to mess around with in a little black color. Should be fun. Also from Eurotackle, I picked up some of the Euro Grubs. As I mentioned, all of my experiences with Eurotackle's microplastics have been really good, and I don't expect this to be any different, and I like to have a couple on hand. And I was all out, so I picked up some Euro Grubs. Another soft plastic bait we have is the Nico Helgermites. I've heard really, really interesting things about these in the past, and I'm super excited to pick some of these up and test them side by side with some of my other favorite finesse style baits, as well as some other Helgermite style baits. And then the last bait we got was these Stinky Balls. These are the catfish flavor. Supposedly They're a way to catch catfish without using like actual live or cut bait. We're gonna see how these work. As I mentioned in the show, a lot of the baits that claim to be able to do this for like catfish or carp that aren't the real thing don't work real well. So we're gonna see if these really live up to the hype. I also got some free promotional stuff, which I'll just show you now. I got one of these bug wipes here, and I also got some fish fry seasoning to try out. We're gonna see how this tastes and some catch and cooks coming up here shortly. Not something I was planning on getting, but I'll put it to use and see how it turns out. And then we also got just some promotional stuff, so like a whole bunch of stickers from a variety of companies, a lanyard, some EPF stickers, Sport Fishing Outfitter stickers, whole bunch of random stickers and stuff, which I always end up with at the end of these expos. I've been there for 4 years, and I always end up with a pile of this stuff, but it goes to good use and is just kind of a fun little thing. Now let's move on to the larger items. So first up, I mentioned this last year, I am dying to get out on the ice and do some ice fishing at some point here shortly. I live in an area where it gets barely cold enough to do it, and it's been super inconsistent as to whether we've actually got it. But nowadays, I not only am able to drive, but I have a vehicle at my own personal disposal. So this next winter, I am going to end up going no matter what it takes. If there's not ice here, I'm gonna go drive and find a place that does. So we should be able to use this year. That being tip-ups. I got 3 of these, just a simple standard tip-up style to be able to increase my ice fishing possibilities when I eventually do take my first ice fishing trip. And I have 3 of those, as I mentioned, and it also came with a little net to get your live minnows or something out of your bucket if you happen to be using minnows on your tip-up. And then I also ended up with a couple of rod and reel purchases, and I'm going to show you those now. I almost forgot before we get into that, this is my Shimano SLX, super awesome bait casting reel that I've been using for a while. This is the reel that I have that Daiwa J-braid I showed you at the beginning spooled up on. And this is my Tsunami Shield, which I have some of that 20-pound BOGO braid spooled up on, and this is actually one of the reels I purchased at the Expo. I purchased this reel from the Sport Fishing Outfitters booth for a really good price, got it for 70 bucks. They're usually somewhere around that $100 mark. I wanted a new reel to put on my medium power GX2 rod for bass fishing, some smaller carp fishing, cat fishing, and some inshore saltwater fishing. And this is actually the reel that I brought on my recent Florida trip. Don't want to spoil too much, but I am a big fan of this reel thus far, and I'm excited to show you some more of the use of this thing in the upcoming videos and upcoming months throughout this year. And finally, for reels, I purchased one of these Abu Garcia Vengeance reels. These come on a pretty cheap combo in Walmart, and I guess you can buy them individually as well. You can get them for really, really low prices on sale, is what I've heard. And I really wanted to kind of have this as a good reference point for some things, as well as a reel to leave up at my lake house. For those of you guys who have been watching my channel for a while, you know that my family has a lake house, and I'm starting to build an arsenal of rods and reels that kind of stay up there so that we don't have to bring stuff back and forth in our travels, and it just makes it a little bit easier to have a good time fishing up there if I don't have to worry about what I'm bringing and make sure I have all the right gear. If I have good stuff up there, then it makes the job a lot easier. So yeah, a really good budget option for a bait caster that I'm looking forward to trying out. And last but not least, I did pick up one rod, that being a Tsunami Shield rod. These are the same rods that come on the Tsunami Shield combos if you end up picking up one of those. I don't think you can actually get these individually. I'm not sure how they worked it out to where they were selling these individually, but I got one for $30. It should be about a $60 to $65 rod if you bought it individually. This is a 9-foot 2-piece medium heavy fast power rod, which is going to be my secondary surf setup for when we go down to Ocean City, Maryland. I'll have 2 surf setups to work with, and hopefully that leads to some more cool catches. Really excited to be using this, and as you guys know, I like to use my current surf setup for things like catfish and carp as well, and this will be doing the same thing. So a nice new rod to add to the arsenal for things like surf fishing and some more big game fish. And with all that being said, I have made it through all of the products that I picked up. Hopefully you enjoyed that, got an idea of what the experience at this expo is like, and got an idea of what some of my future content with some of these products is going to look like. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you possibly learned something from it. If you did, I would really appreciate you hitting the like button and possibly thinking about subscribing if you have not, because I have more informational and educational content on the outdoors just like this coming your way real shortly. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. God bless.